Mamedika Chika, today let me share how to generate cash flow from the agroforestry sector, the growing of trees. Something that has been my principal economic activity for close to 2 decades. In fact, my first farming experience had to do with the planting of trees. That's why you see everywhere, from my home, whether it is the city home to my country home, it's all clad in trees. I love the trees, I love the nature, but I also knew that at any one given time, you can make money out of trees. So trees is one of the safest way that you can make money, because at any given point, the tree has many uses. I've planted all types of trees, which I'm not going to enumerate, from pine to mivule, just to form the boundary because they exceed 100 years. But the most common tree that you can plant for income generating is mostly the eucalyptus trees. And this should depend on the region where you are located. The people who are located around the central region here, Buganda, especially around the Lake Victoria region, there is a cloned type of eucalyptus, which they call the GU7 or 8, which grows very well, especially into upland areas. The GU7 or 8, because it is cloned, it grows very fast, and it has maintained the same, traits, but it doesn't grow well in swampy or waterlogged areas. People used to think that eucalyptus grows into swampy or, what. This type doesn't grow there very well. If it did, it will reach a certain point and develop bacterial or fungal infection. Or if it can manage to grow, because it grows very fast, during the rainy season, any winds that will come will blow it and it will make it fall. Now, most people think that the growing of trees, agroforestry, is done by rich people for their retirement. And true it was, because people who had large tracts of land, who had large connection of supplying trees, either as wood or anything, were the first one to get involved into agroforestry. But a few days ago, I showed it to you, my neighbor at a village called Kachinzi in Nachifuma Town Council, a guy who has 12 decimals, which he bought, I don't want to disclose his sum, which he bought 4 years ago. And he decided to plant onto trees. After seeing me always planting trees and harvesting, I harvested twice. And when he bought his land, he said, I should emulate this man. Today, he has trees there. I hope they were not cut yesterday or any other day. The value of trees that he planted onto his 12 decimals is equivalent to the value that he purchased that land, for sure. Because he planted these trees very well. I've shared many times how you can plant your trees and put on some little fertilizer, DAP, when you are planting. And you also do it at the beginning of the dry season or the end of the rainy season. Your trees will grow very fast. And I also came up with an idea that you don't have to plant so many feet in between, 8 feet, 10 feet, no. For me, I plant 5-6 feet in between each other, because I give them the fertilizer at the time when they need it. That is at the time of planting and the 3rd or 4th month when the rains are about to subside. They will go through the dry spell and grow so well. Now, I am here to share this plan of planting trees in a manner that will enable you generate cash flow. Often, most people plant trees, one forest, especially those with large amount. It brings in prisoners and the rest, and they plant all at once. Mamedika Chika has a different model. One, in an acre, I plant between 600 to 800, seedlings or cuttings, because I'm going to give them a fertilizer. That is, depending on the nature of the land, it must be good, but not a wetland. These trees grow very well onto upland or flatland, which are not waterlogged. Then I intercrop it with some other crops like maize. which I removed after 3 months for making my maize silage. Then I give that land to the villagers. My greatest turning point is giving my trees to the villagers to plant in to plant in beans. The beans are legumes that have their own natural fertilizer. And when you allow people to plant in their beans, they will keep tilling the land and it will not harden. In fact, within no time, I see the change when the people start planting in the beans and weeding and they only plant once, and the trees will have already covered the area and they will throw them out. So my trees tend to be many per acre, and then they tend to grow very fast and straight because they are close to one another. And after 1 year, you can see the difference. Now, Mohammed, where I have 10 acres, probably those I can plant at once. But where I have 25 or 30 acres, I always have paddocks. This you must take note, and that is why I'm sharing. If you have large acreage, don't plant all the trees at once, because it means that it will mature once. And when it matures once and it is a lot, it will become a problem to market, because you will only be able to sell to large-scale buyers who have large amounts of money, which is these days a problem, because the eucalyptus buyers who are taking it for poles are not easily available these days. So what I do is that if I have 25, I have 25 upwards up to 250 acres. I plant it in segments. I get about 10 or 15 acres and I plant the trees. When I plant alongside the intercropping, that one will grow up to about 6 months. Then I plant the second one. So you are going to see that the bulk of my trees have what I call canopy. These trees, this area has just been cleared, yet to be planted. The next area are trees that are 6 months and close to that. Then the next area will be 6 months to 1 year. Then the next area will be 1 year and a half. Then you'll see the others that are 2 years old. You will see those that are 2.5. And from 3 years, I start warming up for getting my money, because I usually sell my trees at the 4th year. Because when the trees that were planted close to each other, when they reach 4 years, they stall in growth. A 4-year-old eucalyptus tree, as compared to a 6-year, they are close to the same. Because the area to which they are eating, unless when you planted those 10 feet or 12 feet, that is when they can continue growing. But if you planted them close to one another, I even do thinning, because my greatest cash flow lies into that sequential harvesting. You know, those that I planted 6 months ago will be the first one to be cut. And when you do into such a pattern, it is easier to sell. Because you'll be selling it in paddocks. A paddock, if it is 10 acres, those are areas that will be going for 40, 50, 60 million. There are many buyers, tree buyers or pole buyers, who can afford to pay or to buy an area that is for 50, 60 million. Because my arrangement is, you first pay the initial payment, 60%. If it is 60 million, then you must have to pay 40 million. And I allow you to cut up to halfway. You don't continue cutting after halfway if you have not paid the balance. So these people now, it is easier to sell 10, 12, 15 acres than selling 200 acres at once. So I have that pattern of planting them into a sequence to ensure cash flow. I used to argue, in a native manner with people and their other businesses. Tree planting is as good as having rentals or units. And to me, it was always better because I have nobody to argue with. I have nobody. Maybe because of the location, I'm in Mukono. And I'm next to, because it is about 40 minutes from my forest reserves to the highly urbanized or growing urban area, or in Uganda, and can call it in Uganda, the Kira area. Because the bulk of either small poles, those for shuttering, and the rest are usually obtained, up to roofing, are usually obtained from my forests. So I have on about 6 clients continuously. These are people who are very sure that when I'm done with this forest in Makokuba, then he's going to take me to Lutengo. From Lutengo, he's going to take me to Lusanja 1. From Lusanja 1, he's going to take me to Kachinzi. From Kachinzi, and I give them about a month for each one always to complete. And it must always coincide with the dry spell that you are out, so that the rainy season finds you when you're out of my area and I can plant. Today's message is to share with you how to make money from the growing of trees, but in a very systematic manner. And it has helped me a great deal. In fact, people are not aware that tree planting or tree harvesting is my greatest source of income. Thank you.